Okay, let's create our hearts that tell us how much energy we have. And I want to kind of dig a little bit into the process of optimizing your code. So let's first write this in a way that is not so great, and then we're going to take a look at how we can improve what we wrote. But the first way we are going to do this is slightly more simple maybe to understand. So let's do that first, and then I'm going to try to improve it just a little bit. So we want our hearts to be like when we're playing the game. Let me show you. We want our hearts to be somewhere around here, and I think we start with 3, but maybe there can be a maximum of 5 hearts. So let me first of all select my heads up display layer. I'm going to lock all the other layers and just work on this one, and I want to bring in the heart sprite. So let me just click here. I will open up my sprite sheet and I will select the heart, and then I will crop it a couple of times, and I think I want to scale it so that it's slightly smaller. So I will just grab this corner here. I will hold down shift so that I can't squeeze it or stretch it. So shift kind of locks the scaling operation. So maybe something like that would be fine. And then let's copy this a couple of times so that we have a total of 5 hearts. And what I want to happen is I want to see only the amount of hearts that our player has. So if the player has only 1 health, I only want to see this 1 heart. And if he has 2 healths, then I want to see 2 hearts. So let's see how we might approach a system like this. Basically, these are all now same, and we can't really easily tell which one is which. So it's kind of hard to hide the right heart depending on the situation. So this gives us a really good reason to talk about something called instance variables. And these instance variables that you can see here, these allow us to kind of give each of these hearts a unique name, or a variable that we can change for each of these. So even though these are all the same object, that is the object here, if I select the object here, then it's going to select all of these. So we have like 5 instances of the same sprite for object. Let's rename it heart, by the way. And now I want to be able to select a specific one of these. So what I can do is I can add an instance variable. So let's go here, add instance variables. I'm going to click on this plus, and I'm going to call this heart number. And it's going to be a number, and the initial value can be 1. It doesn't really matter that much because we need to change them anyway. And for the description, maybe I'll say that which one of the Hud Hearts are we talking about? Okay, so that's what this number basically means. So now when I have this first one selected, we can see that the heart number is 1. If I select the second one, it's still 1 because we haven't changed it. So each of these hearts, their heart number is 1. But I want the second one to have a heart number, maybe you guessed it, 2. And the third one should be heart number 3, and so forth. Alright, now we can create a system in which we hide those which have a higher number than what we have energy. So let's go to our event sheet, and I guess this might go inside the player category, and or maybe let's create a health category on its own. So let's add a group, and let's call this health, just to be neat and organized. Let's create a lot of groups. So now we can start to create our logic, and I'm going to press S to create a sub event for the health group. And let's say that we want to take a look at the heart object here, and we want to compare the instance variable of it. So we want to check if the heart number is equal to 5, right? We're checking if the heart we're talking about is the heart number 5. And now we can add another condition. So we want two things to be true for the action to happen. So we want to see if the heart number is 5, and we also want to see if the energy is less than 5. Okay? So I can create events that have multiple conditions. So let's add a second condition to this. So I can press C for condition, and that will open this add condition box here. And now I will go into my system category, and I will compare the player health, and I will check, is the player health less than 5? Alright, so now these two things need to happen. So the heart needs to be heart number 5, and then the player health needs to be less than 5. And if these both are true, then we are going to add an action which is going to hide this particular heart. So let's go to our hearts, and let's make it invisible. That's the action that we want. We want to hide this heart from the view. So I'm going to go to appearance, set visible, and I'm going to turn it invisible. Alright, done. So now if we play this game, we can see that there's only 4 hearts, and that's because in the very beginning of the game we have only 3. Our health is only 3. So it's going to take a look at this condition here, and it's going to set the 5th heart invisible, because this is true. So now we can then let's do the other ones as well. So maybe I will just copy this part, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and now I can change the heart number to be 4, and I can change the player health to be 4 as well, and that will set that one visible. And now I will just copy this for each one of the 5 hearts. And you can probably see like this is not the optimum way of doing this, because there's all this copying the same thing, and that's actually something that we can usually avoid with if we are creating a bit smarter code or smarter logic. But this is like a quick and dirty way that should work pretty well. So let's see what happens now. So if everything works, we should have 3 hearts, and then if we go and take some damage from an enemy, then we are losing those hearts. So that's working, and now the game restarted as well. So that's good. Let's save at this point. I'm going to save with the number paper world 1.0.0.3.